What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, man. Welcome back to another episode of the show. And happy Halloween to everybody, bruh. Happy Halloween to everybody. If you celebrate Halloween, if you don't, happy Tuesday, wherever you at, whatever you doing, whatever part of the world you living in. Have you a good one, alright, man? But anywho, so I had a really good birthday. It's been cool having homie Dakota over here. The hype mic actually has a new home. I actually gave it to Dakota, so so he can have a microphone if he decides to start his podcasting journey as well. Just like I said, man, just chilling. Birthday was crazy. Bruh. Oh boy. Birthday was crazy, that's all I'll say. So yesterday I watched a Little Richard documentary called Little Richard, the King and Queen of Rock and Roll. So basically it talks about him and how he got his start and everything. It talks about him, coming out as well, you know what I mean by coming out. So his dad, he wanted 7 boys, and his dad said he was messing it up because he was that way, and so his dad didn't like it, so he tied him down and he beat him, and he was like, well, I'm not gonna let it stop me on be who I am, and so his dad told him, either you gotta do what I say or you gotta get out, cause I'm not putting up with this shit. So basically he got out, and he started off by playing the blues, and then one day he was in the club, and he seen the piano, and that's how it all got started for Little Richard. Tutti Frutti, those weren't actually Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, those weren't actually the lyrics that he first came up with. So the first lyrics that he came up with was Tutti Frutti, good booty, grease it, something. I don't remember the rest of them, but like they said, they didn't want that on the radio because it's like it's fruity, it's like you can't say shit like that on the radio. So I mean, so yeah, his producer was like, nah, you gotta change that shit, homeboy. Like, you gotta change that shit. So they had him change the lyrics to Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. And so, when that came out, you had Pat Boone, who was a white star, and he produced his cover of it, and it got more plays than Little Richard did. And ain't that some crazy shit? Like, it got more plays than the Little Richard version did. But it was because Little Richard was black, and back in them days, it was like, oh well, I think segregation, everything was going on. It was just real messed up. And like he had said, like people would buy like the 2 records, like they had the Little Richard Tutti Frutti under the table, and they had the Pat Boone on the table, because the teenagers would buy the records, and the kids' mamas or whoever their parents didn't want them to know didn't want people to know that they had it. So basically what Little Richard was saying was that he was in one spot of the house and Pat Boone was in the other, and like that's crazy. And then so alright, so he's like, alright then, I'ma since he did Tutti Frutti, I'm gonna go a little bit faster. And so he put out Long Tall Sally. Well, of course, Pat Boone was like, if you can do if I can sing Wop Babaloo Babalop Bamboo, and do that, then I'ma do Long Tall Sally too. And of course, same thing happened. And everybody loved Little Richard, man. Uh, he met the Beatles before the Beatles was even famous, bro. And like, so, and basically, Keith Richards, they was all of them, the Stones, they was inspired by Little Richard, basically. And like, even Michael Jackson, Prince, all of them, they was inspired by Little Richard. He says, I am the king of rock and roll. I did this before any of y'all knew about it. I did this first. The flamboyancy, the hair, all that stuff. I did all this, and the woo, he did all that, before anybody else could, So then you move on to his evangelism. Well, actually, so he left out of rock and roll, and so he went to, this was I think they said in the 80s. So he was he basically he was on a plane one day, and so basically what happened was it was a red spot on the plane. The plane got real hot, and like, so basically it was a fire up under the plane, and he was like, oh yeah, well, it was some angels watching over me that day, because I could have died on that plane. And that's when he knew he had to turn his life over to God. And it was a real struggle for him, because like when he went out on tour, and everybody was when everybody was expecting him to play his older stuff, and like he wanted to play gospel music, but he was like, you know what, I'm gonna get the fans what they want. And he struggled with that. He really struggled with that. So I mean, he internally struggled. So basically, then he got out of the rock and roll stuff completely. No, I don't think he actually ever got out of it completely, but he went and started preaching. He was a preacher or an evangelist for a while. And if you look it up right before he died, there are some videos. There's some videos on YouTube of him preaching, and I watched them, and I'm like, wow, I the only thing I knew about Little Richard back in the day was he was just a cool singer. Like he sang a lot of good music and stuff like that. Like, it was like, and then and what really did it for him, I think what really got him was so his brother called him one day, and he's like, oh, I need to see you. And like, so he didn't go see his brother. He picked up this guy, and the guy, he went and got high with this guy, and and the next morning they called him and said his brother died. His brother Tony had died, and that really hit him where it hurt. And he had this girl named Angel Lee that he really wanted to be with and marry, but she wouldn't give him a chance because she was young at the time. But then when she was talking about how basically she went to pick him up from the airport one day, and he was like, he was all kind of messed up. Like, she said he even tried, he got her to try PCP, and she was like, what? This ain't the Little Richard that I know, but yeah, man, and when they stopped selling his records, he quit going out on the road. And then like he went to the Grammys, and he actually gave out the award, and he was so funny because he was like, oh, and the winner is me. So he's sitting there joking, and he goes on. He says it again. He's like, the winner is still me. And that's when that's when I was telling y'all. He said I did all this before y'all and all this stuff, But yeah, man. So that is Little Richard, the King and Queen of Rock and Roll. Good documentary, man. Y'all should really, really check that out. So yeah, you can find it. Go check it out. Yep. So what else is going on with me? Not really much, man. Just hanging out with Dakota and chilling and just doing me, man. Doing me, bruh. So yeah, bruh. So y'all stay tuned for more content coming soon from your boy. Like I always said, man. Hey, yo, if y'all like the show, subscribe on Spotify and anywhere else you can get your podcast, yo. But if you like the show, subscribe. If you like the show, leave a rating. If y'all want to see certain stuff, email me. If y'all want certain books, email me. My email address is Douglas. That's DOUGLAS period COUCH at ROCKETMAIL.com. I'll say it one more time. Douglas, DOUGLAS period COUCH at ROCKETMAIL.com. You can, like I said, you can subscribe to the podcast anywhere you get podcast. So yeah, man. What else? I'm trying to think. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at Douglas_couch. That's just like my email address, but with underscore, no rocketmail.com, any of that. Just Douglas_couch. Follow me on Twitter to keep updated when I post. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, keep up to date when I post new episodes. You can follow me there on Twitter to know what's going on. So yeah, man. Like I said, I hope y'all have enjoyed this episode, man. I enjoy doing this podcast for y'all, man. But yeah, yo. All right, sir. I'm out. Peace.